let's talk about Bitcoin Jesus, aka Roger Ver.
Roger Ver, also known as the Bitcoin Jesus.
This is a tough one for me to unpack.
This story with Roger Ver is absolutely wild.
Roger Ver, the Bitcoin Jesus, one of the original people in Bitcoin.
And for a long time, he was the Bitcoin guy.
Who has onboarded, either directly or indirectly, likely thousands, hundreds of thousands, or even millions of people into cryptocurrency.
So he was one of the most prolific early Bitcoiners.
Roger would go to barber shops and they'd cut his hair and say, I have to pay in Bitcoin. You're like, what the hell is Bitcoin? But had they accepted, or if they did accept, they'd do pretty well. Back then, Bitcoin wasn't worth a lot.
So Roger hired, I think, 1 or 2 different law firms. And he hired a couple of different accounting firms to try to help him, before he left, figure out what the proper valuation was. So Roger didn't just leave, he paid.
And Roger paid millions of dollars to the United States government, and they're saying now that it's not enough. And what is fascinating is that they can only go back 10 years, so in 2014, so just in the last hour they're deciding to go after him.
He paid what he thought was the right exit tax after consulting with a couple of different legal firms and a couple of different accounting firms. So from Roger's perspective, it's not like he just dashed.
People might remember or might not, but it was really the Wild West with Bitcoin in the early days. And he renounced his citizenship in 2014 and is now in 2024 getting attacked for Bitcoin he was holding in 2014, when Bitcoin was a non-asset, not on anyone's radar.
We didn't even really have a definition for it at the IRS. And still, in 2024, we still do not know whether Bitcoin is a security or a commodity.
He was like right at the very end. Statute of limitations was almost up on his case. And so it was just about to run up, and they arrest him right at the very end of that, right as he released the book, Hijacking Bitcoin.
Was actually in Spain promoting a book.
Right.
A Bitcoin book launch.
But I think, yes, I think it was politically motivated. I think they're vindictive. I think they hate what Roger stands for. And we saw this in Ross's case as well, right? With the judge, Catherine Forrester, bringing up the idea that the ideas are dangerous. It's like, no, you're dangerous. The government's what's dangerous.
Once again, I see a lot of Bitcoiners celebrating this, celebrating the government cracking down on him because obviously Roger Ver ended up supporting Bitcoin Cash. This is a very strange, nuanced case for me. And I think if you're going to celebrate the United States government going after this guy, then watch your ass.
Basically, if the government wants to go after you, they'll just find a reason. They decide that you're the target, and then they figure out the crime afterwards. That's the issue.
I fundamentally and ideologically think completely differently than Roger Ver when it comes to Bitcoin and crypto. However, I'm Team Roger Ver when it comes to this case against the United States government. The government's trying to be in everybody's pockets. Taxation is theft. I don't care what anybody says. Nobody's going to get me to think differently, especially how recklessly they spend the taxes that they do collect from us. So from this moment forward, until this case is resolved, I'm on the same side as Roger.
I have to defend Roger Ver here because the U.S. government is completely out of line, trying to sentence him to 100 years. He's got like a petition. I'm gonna, back Roger on this one. What's your thoughts, Jacob?
Same. If I have to choose between government and shitcoiners, I would always choose shitcoiner in general. That's also true for CZ. And if tomorrow the government comes from Vitalik, I would also defend Vitalik.